Coming up, a plaintiff breaks their silence in a lawsuit against the University of Kentucky over what they say was a toxic environment.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. For the first time, we are hearing from one of the plaintiffs in a lawsuit filed against the University of Kentucky, its athletic director, and two former swim coaches. The complaint alleges the university empowered Lars Jorgensen to create a toxic and sexually hostile environment. Kelsey Soto reports.
It took several years before Briggs Alexander was able to share his experience about his time swimming and coaching at the University of Kentucky. He says he wore the blue and white proudly, but believes the Title IX office failed him and other athletes.
I didn't know if anyone was going to believe me. I mean, I read my own story, and I can't believe that happened to me.
He says on multiple occasions he was sexually assaulted at Lars Jorgensen's and openly objectified, humiliated, degraded, and taunted him home. Alexander feels as though his coach used his position of power. Advocates who were involved in the USA Gymnastics scandal say this practice is all too common and more can be done to protect young victims.
And so being able to look not just at the abuse that occurred, but ask the why question. What could we have done better? How do we fix it for the next time? How do we make sure this doesn't happen again? And to own that and to take responsibility is absolutely critical.
Lawyers involved want any other potential victims to know they're not alone and there is a space for them to share their story.
We need you. We need to keep shining the light and pressure on this university to do the right thing, to be transparent, and to hold those responsible accountable.
For Alexander, the process has been daunting and hopes this may be an opportunity for others to come forward and seek justice.
Outside of the fear that he put on to me, you know, if you go to the police, you know, XYZ will happen. That was real for me, and I just did what I needed to do to survive.
That was Kelsey Soto reporting. In a statement, UK expressed distress over the alleged allegations, emphasizing that such alleged abuse is unacceptable. The university stated its commitment to cooperating fully with law enforcement and ensuring the safety and well-being of its students, faculty, and staff. A law regarding underage vaping is now at the center of a lawsuit. House Bill 11 will prevent the sale of any vape products without FDA authorization or a safe harbor certification. Some owners say the law would prevent them from being able to sell most of their products, as the FDA has only authorized 23 products.
It bans everything in our store. Like 98% of everything would be banned here. We couldn't survive that. There's no way.
House Bill 11 also creates harsher penalties for retailers who sell tobacco products to people under 21. Tracy says he has no issue with this because he doesn't believe vape shops are the ones selling to people who are underage. A Laurel County man will spend more than a decade behind bars after stabbing someone. In February, Joshua Bowling stabbed another man 5 times and slashed his back with a knife. The victim survived. Bowling was sentenced to 15 years in jail today. He initially faced an attempted murder charge, but it was dropped. A Laurel County woman accused of killing a businessman was in court today. Deputies say in 2021, Victoria Strelsky shot Brian McCarty in the back. A change of venue hearing has been scheduled for June 19th. In Pulaski County, 2 men are behind bars after police say they found drugs on them. The incident happened 2 weeks ago at a home on Lakeview Drive in Nancy. Police were called out to the home after responding to a trespassing complaint. Police later found digital scales and a crystal-like substance similar to meth on Darwin Roberts and Eric Lawhorn. Roberts and Lawhorn were taken to the Pulaski County Detention Center. Kentucky State Police Post 13 in Hazard is looking for potential informants to help fight drug abuse. The program has been utilized before but is being revamped. Trooper Matt Gayhart says informants would be paid based on each buy they conduct. Gayhart says they are also trying to stop theft along with drug abuse.
It's something that we see that go hand in hand, unfortunately, in the drug world. They've got to do something to supply that habit. So unfortunately, we see a lot of times theft being their main source of income. to supply those drugs.
Gayhart says you can contact Kentucky State Police to learn how to become involved.
We are tracking some more warm weather to close out your Wednesday. Also, maybe a couple of showers as we go into late tonight up on First Alert Pinpoint Doppler. For most of us, we are dry at this hour, but notice for our friends over in West Virginia, we are tracking a few strong to severe storms close to Charleston, and we could see maybe a couple of showers or a thunderstorm in our West Virginia counties for places like Wayne into Mingo and Logan counties. But for most of us, we are dry as we close out your Wednesday. Those current readings in the middle to upper 60s and a few lower 70s, up to 70 for Morehead, 65 in Jackson, also for Pikeville, and 64 in Somerset, also in London at this hour. And those lows are back in the upper 50s to lower 60s to wake up on Thursday. Again, a small chance of a stray shower, but most are quiet overnight. More summer-like weather on the way tomorrow and a cooler weekend also on the way. Those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. A very important weekend weather-wise as Hillbilly Days is underway with the carnival wrapping up its first night and vendors filling up the downtown Pikeville streets. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more about how you can prepare for the 47th event.
Between the thrills and the treats.
I always look forward to seeing people you've not seen in several years, and of course the food. Gotta love the food.
Hillbilly Days 2024 could also come with some trouble, and officers with the Pikeville Police Department say it is crucial to prepare before you join in on the festival fun.
If you're bringing your children with you, make sure you keep an eye on them real close, because sometimes they get, lost pretty quick. They take a few steps one way or the other, and you turn around, they're gone.
Officers recommend parents snap a photo of their children before leaving the house so they have a record of their exact outfit and more in case they get lost in the shuffle of Shriners.
Sometimes it's a good idea to maybe put your phone number and the parent's name in their pocket on a piece of paper.
Saying there will be a heavy police presence downtown to help keep the event full of family fun.
The Pikeville police officer will be downtown, the Pike County Sheriff's Office will be downtown. Maybe you may see a Kentucky State Trooper. Just tell them to make sure to look for the uniform and don't be afraid to come ask for help.
Paying close attention to hydration and road safety is also encouraged.
Traffic is congested really bad during this event, so just make sure you're slow down, don't follow too close. Make sure you're wearing your seatbelt. Watch out for pedestrian traffic. There's going to be a lot of people walking.
Making sure everyone makes it to the festival and back home, safe and sound. In Pikeville, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
The festival officially kicks off tomorrow morning and runs through Saturday. We'll be there to share the sights and sounds, and if you're in Pikeville, be sure to drop by our new WYMT selfie stop on Hambly Boulevard. Well, one couple is trying to keep the memories of one Harlan County high school alive. Due to dwindling enrollment, Lynch High School closed in the early 1980s. In 2013, Mary Jo and Mike Abradovich created the Bulldog Room, full of memorabilia from decades ago.
People that graduated from Lynch, when they come in here, for example, if they look at this picture of a championship team, it brings back stories. And if there were 500 people at that championship game, there's 500 different stories.
If you're interested in a tour of the Bulldog Room, you can find more information in this story on our website. Morehead State University is participating in the U.S. mission to land a man on Mars. Back in February, the university's satellites were able to connect NASA systems to the private company's lander that reached the moon. WYMT Washington News Bureau correspondent Brendan Cullerton spoke to NASA leadership today about the program.
NASA says Morehead State saved the day during a recent lunar mission. The university's contributions were recognized before Congress. The House Appropriations Committee gave Dr. Ben Malfris a standing ovation for his work directing Morehead State's space science program and assisting the NASA mission to ultimately put a man on Mars.
Couldn't be prouder to be here on Capitol Hill representing Morehead State University at a NASA hearing.
Prepare for ever more complex human missions to Mars.
NASA Administrator Bill Nelson says a lander from the company Intuitive Machines, launched in partnership with NASA, fell on its side after landing, creating a crisis of communication.
They couldn't get the energy to get the communication but we could through our big NASA dishes on deep space communication. And Morehead State patched the two together.
Appropriations Committee Chairman Hal Rogers says Morehead State is starting to get the credit it deserves as a global leader in space exploration.
I think we're making a dent in that. Yeah, they're getting to be known.
NASA hopes to land a man on Mars before China and says there is concern China would claim territory for itself if it arrives first. In Washington, I'm Brennan Cullerton.
The Kentucky Community and Technical College System is recognizing students who enrolled in dual credit courses last fall. Nearly 27,500 Kentuckians from more than 350 high schools took more than 5,000 dual credit courses last fall. Together, they earned more than 142,000 credit hours, saving around $13 million in tuition costs. There will be no school in the Harlan Independent School System Thursday. A social media post says this is due to an unexpected plumbing and water issue in the district. This will not be an NTI day. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, the impeachment trial of the Homeland Security Secretary ends before it really even began.
Plus, another summer-like day is on tap tomorrow. Your Thursday forecast after this break.